The all-American nightmare, introducing Ted Bundy. He was handsome, he was charismatic. Ted Bundy was the kind of man who could easily blend into any social setting. With his charming smile and confident demeanor, he could have been anyone's son, brother, or friend. He was the epitome of the all-American boy next door, someone you would never suspect of harboring a dark and twisted mind. He could have been anyone's son, brother, or friend. Growing up in a seemingly normal family, Bundy was well-liked by his peers and teachers. He was active in his community and even volunteered at a crisis hotline where he was known for his empathy and willingness to help others. But beneath this charming exterior lay a mind capable of unspeakable horrors. But beneath the charming facade of Ted Bundy lurked a dark and twisted mind, a mind capable of unspeakable horrors. His ability to mask his true nature allowed him to commit heinous acts without arousing suspicion. Bundy's duality is what makes his story so chilling. He was a master of deception, able to present himself as a caring and trustworthy individual while hiding his monstrous tendencies. Bundy's name has become synonymous with the term serial killer, a chilling reminder that evil can often be found hiding in plain sight. His crimes were not just acts of violence, they were calculated and methodical, designed to inflict maximum terror and suffering. The sheer number of his victims and the brutality of his actions have cemented his place in history as one of the most notorious criminals of all time. His story is one of deception, manipulation, and a complete disregard for human life. Bundy was a master manipulator, using his charm and intelligence to gain the trust of his victims before revealing his true nature. His ability to deceive extended beyond his victims. He managed to fool law enforcement, the media, and even those closest to him for years. His trials were a spectacle, drawing massive public attention and revealing the depths of his depravity. Bundy's crimes shocked the nation. The news of his arrest and subsequent trials captivated the public, leading to widespread fear and fascination. People were horrified to learn that someone who seemed so normal could commit such atrocious acts. The media coverage of his crimes and trials turned Bundy into a household name, and his story became a cautionary tale about the dangers of trusting appearances. He shattered the illusion of safety and left countless lives forever scarred. The impact of Bundy's crimes extended far beyond his immediate victims. Families were torn apart, communities were left in shock, and the sense of security that many people took for granted was irrevocably damaged. The emotional toll on the victims' families was immense, and their pain and suffering serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of Bundy's actions. How could someone so seemingly normal commit such heinous acts? This question has puzzled psychologists, criminologists, and the general public for decades. Bundy's ability to lead a double life, presenting himself as a model citizen while secretly indulging in his darkest impulses, is a testament to the complexity of the human mind. His case has been studied extensively in an attempt to understand the factors that contributed to his behavior. The answer, it seems, lies in the complex and deeply disturbing psychology of a man who remains one of the most infamous criminals in history. Bundy's psychological profile reveals a man who is deeply disturbed, with a personality marked by narcissism, a lack of empathy, and a need for control. His ability to manipulate and deceive those around him was a key factor in his ability to evade capture for so long. This is the story of Ted Bundy, the all-American nightmare. His life and crimes serve as a chilling reminder of the potential for evil that exists within the human psyche. As we delve deeper into his story, we will explore the factors that shaped him, the methods he used to carry out his crimes, and the impact he had on his victims and society as a whole. Ted Bundy's legacy is one of horror and fascination, a dark chapter in the history of crime that continues to captivate and terrify us to this day. A troubled beginning, shadows in Bundy's past. The story of Ted Bundy, one of America's most notorious serial killers, begins in the shadows of his early life. His childhood, marked by secrecy and deception, set the stage for the darkness that would later define his existence. Theodore Robert Bundy's life began shrouded in secrecy and shame. Born on November 24, 1946 in Burlington, Vermont, Bundy's early years were anything but ordinary. His mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, was unmarried at the time of his birth, a fact that carried significant social stigma in the 1940s. To avoid the shame associated with being an unwed mother, Eleanor moved to Philadelphia to live with her parents, Samuel and Eleanor Cowell. It was here that young Ted was raised, under the guise that his grandparents were his parents and his mother was his sister. This complex web of lies created a confusing and unstable environment for the young boy. Raised by his grandparents in Philadelphia, Bundy grew up believing his mother was his sister. This deception was not just a simple lie but a fundamental aspect of his identity. The truth, a closely guarded secret, was that he was born out of wedlock. This revelation, when it eventually came to light, would have a profound impact on Bundy's psyche. The truth, a closely guarded secret, was that he was born out of wedlock. This early deception cast a long shadow over Bundy's life. The psychological impact of this revelation cannot be overstated. It created a sense of betrayal and mistrust that would follow him throughout his life. This early deception cast a long shadow over Bundy's life. The young Ted Bundy was described by those who knew him as a shy and introverted child. He struggled to form meaningful connections with others and often felt like an outsider. This sense of isolation was compounded by the secrets that surrounded his family. Even as a child, there were signs that something wasn't right. Bundy exhibited disturbing behavior, displaying a fascination with violence and death. He was known to engage in cruel acts towards animals, a common early indicator of psychopathic tendencies. These behaviors were often dismissed as childhood mischief, but they hinted at a much darker undercurrent. Bundy exhibited disturbing behavior, displaying a fascination with violence and death. He was withdrawn and prone to fits of anger. These outbursts were often unpredictable and left those around him feeling uneasy. His inability to control his emotions was a sign of the inner turmoil he was experiencing. He was withdrawn and prone to fits of anger. Some speculate that these early warning signs hinted at the darkness that would later consume him. His teachers and peers noticed his odd behavior, but in the context of the time, there was little understanding or intervention for such issues. Some speculate that these early warning signs hinted at the darkness that would later consume him. The true extent of Bundy's troubled childhood remains unclear. However, it is evident that his formative years were marked by instability and a lack of a stable family structure. This lack of stability likely contributed to his later inability to form healthy relationships and his propensity for manipulation and deceit. The true extent of Bundy's troubled childhood remains unclear. However, it is evident that his formative years were marked by instability and a lack of a stable family structure. His grandparents, while providing for his basic needs, were not equipped to address the emotional and psychological issues that Bundy was grappling with. However, it is evident that his formative years were marked by instability and a lack of a stable family structure. These early experiences likely played a role in shaping the monster he would become. The combination of secrecy, deception, and emotional neglect created a perfect storm that would eventually lead to Bundy's descent into darkness. These early experiences likely played a role in shaping the monster he would become. As Bundy grew older, the shadows of his past continued to haunt him. He struggled to find his place in the world and often felt like he was living a double life. This duality would become a defining feature of his personality, allowing him to present a charming and charismatic facade while hiding his true, sinister nature. In his teenage years, Bundy's behavior became increasingly erratic. He struggled academically and socially, often feeling like he didn't belong. Despite his outward appearance of normalcy, those close to him could sense that something was amiss. His relationships were marked by manipulation and deceit, traits that would become more pronounced as he grew older. Despite these challenges, Bundy managed to maintain a veneer of normalcy. He was able to charm those around him and present himself as a well-adjusted individual. This ability to mask his true nature would later become one of his most dangerous traits, allowing him to evade suspicion and continue his reign of terror for years. As Bundy entered adulthood, the shadows of his past continued to influence his actions. He struggled to maintain stable relationships, and often found himself at odds with those around him. His charm and charisma allowed him to manipulate those who trusted him, but his true nature was always lurking beneath the surface. The duality of Bundy's personality was a key factor in his ability to evade capture for so long. He was able to present himself as a charming and trustworthy individual while hiding his true, sinister intentions. This ability to deceive those around him was a direct result of the secrets and lies that had defined his early life. The shadows of Bundy's past continued to loom large over his life, influencing his actions and shaping his destiny. His early experiences of deception and betrayal created a foundation of mistrust and manipulation that would define his interactions with others. The monster that Bundy became was not born overnight, but was the result of years of psychological and emotional turmoil. In the end, the shadows of Bundy's past caught up with him. His reign of terror came to an end, but the legacy of his actions continues to haunt those who knew him and the families of his victims. The story of Ted Bundy is a chilling reminder of the impact that early childhood experiences can have on an individual's life. It serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of addressing psychological and emotional issues before they manifest into something far more sinister. The story of Ted Bundy is a chilling reminder of the impact that early childhood experiences can have on an individual's life. It serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of addressing psychological and emotional issues before they manifest into something far more sinister. The shadows in Bundy's past were not just a backdrop to his crimes, but a fundamental part of his identity. Understanding these shadows is key to understanding the man who became one of America's most infamous serial killers. The shadows in Bundy's past were not just a backdrop to his crimes, but a fundamental part of his identity. Understanding these shadows is key to understanding the man who became one of America's most infamous serial killers. As we delve deeper into the life of Ted Bundy, we must remember that the seeds of his monstrous behavior were sown in the shadows of his early years. The story of Ted Bundy is a stark reminder of the importance of addressing the psychological and emotional needs of children to prevent the creation of future monsters. As we delve deeper into the life of Ted Bundy, we must remember that the seeds of his monstrous behavior were sown in the shadows of his early years. The story of Ted Bundy is a stark reminder of the importance of addressing the psychological and emotional needs of children to prevent the creation of future monsters. The shadows in Bundy's past continue to cast a long and dark shadow over his legacy, serving as a chilling reminder of the impact that early childhood experiences can have on an individual's life.